The article's a little deceptive. It makes it seem, at first glance, that General McChrystal is the one who rips Joe Biden, the President of the United States, General Jones, General Eikenberry, who's functioning now as an ambassador. But upon further review, if you look real close, the only person he directly rips is Ambassador Holbrooke, who basically is on the way out anyway. So you say to yourself, the general didn't come out and say, I was taken out of context by a left-wing magazine who duped me. He doesn't say that.
Right.
He said, bad judgment, it's not indicative of my career, made a huge mistake, I apologize, but does not say the sentiments are inaccurate, which makes me wonder, does that give him the out? It's
right.
not General MacArthur saying, oh, you know what, let's go invade China instead of just trying to take North Korea.
Well, McChrystal did do one stupid thing, and that was allow Rolling Stone, this freelance writer, into his camp for a while, and because of the volcanic ash spewing out of Iceland, they wound up sticking together for a lot longer, and the guy saw...
So blame the volcano.
The guy got to see McChrystal's posse all liquored up, and they said a lot of stuff. But you probably heard, you know, the president is going to have the same choice that Harry Truman had back in the day during the Korean conflict and when he fired Douglas MacArthur. Well, Harry Truman's grandson was on the Cavuto program last night and saw these parallels.
What my grandfather did was to simply reassert the commander-in-chief. The last word is the president's. He is the commander-in-chief. Policy is set by him. And the military has to follow that. In firing General MacArthur, yes, he took a great risk. He fired a very popular man, a war hero. Looking over the Rolling Stone article that we're talking about today with General McChrystal, things seem very similar. You've got a general that is actively talking about U.S. policy and talking about different ways to do things. It's a tough thing to remove a commander. It's a tough thing to do. You will face problems in the ranks, but you have to go forward in unity. You have to go forward together as a country and present a policy together, or I think it's going to lead to many more problems down the line.
To me, this is what being president of the United States is all about. It's these tough, huge, monumental decisions. It's not about how you run a campaign. It's not about whether or not you're popular. It's not about whether or not you're a celebrity or you're good looking or tall or short. It's in a time of crisis making these executive decisions. It's just like our job. I mean, from a day-to-day basis, a lot of times when there's not big breaking news, we just sort of roll along. But what's the role of an anchor during huge breaking news? You remember growing up? You tuned to the television, and that one moment during the year, they would have to carry a story all along. It's the same thing as being the president of the United States.
Well, for this president, it would mean talking about the war for a change. He never talks about the war. He never talks about the urgency. He never talks about the men and women in the field, even though I'm sure he has sentiment for it. I'm sure he gets up worrying about it because ultimately they're his responsibility. But when he's deciding about the war for 3 months, he's going to Dover Air Force Base, finding the caskets, walking Arlington, staring into the wind. Then he's sitting there and contemplating about the war. But right now, those men and women have to feel ignored. If it wasn't for General McChrystal ill-advisedly talking to this left-wing anti-war magazine, we would not be discussing this. And let's go discuss it. The Ambassador Eikenberry and General McChrystal are on different pages. Crocker was not on a different page than Petraeus. The bottom line is General Jones has been off the reservation as a key advisor of the Obama administration. Maybe he shouldn't have been called a clown, but maybe they should address all the huge schism between all the beliefs. And there's one difference between everything else. Everyone else talks about it. General McChrystal's actually fighting it.
Sure,
he goes out on missions.